Hello, hello, hello. My name is Emily with Straight Talk with Sissy. We are in the Straight Talk Lounge right now. I am so honored to have a guest of mine who has taught me some things, and so I brought her on here to teach y'all. This is Miss Alexis. She is the owner and creator of Holistic Training. She can get your mind and your money right. Okay, so let's talk cash money. Alexis, can you please tell us kind of what your focus is and what your business is about?
Yeah, love to. Thanks for having me, by the way. I'm
Of
excited we're able to
course.
do this. I know
Of
we've been
course.
planning this for a while, so I'm
Yes,
happy to do it with you.
yes, yes, yes.
So I created holistic training because I just feel like in general we want to build community and especially
Hmm.
living just based on I would like to go back to trade and bartering systems. So
Right.
making things less cash focused, but since we are in a cash dominated society,
Yes.
teaching people how to use their money and make it work for them and kind of teaching them just the ins and tricks that we weren't taught in school, right? They didn't
Hmm.
have a class on taxes in school.
Right.
They didn't have a chapter on 401ks. They didn't
Right.
have chapters on investments or insurance policies. So just
Right.
making the public aware of general financial education. And so within
Right.
holistic training, I believe in training our mind, body, and spirit. So we were talking
Hmm.
about this a little earlier. When your money ain't right, your mind ain't right. When your money
Facts.
ain't right, it's hard to get your body right. And then when your
Hmm.
money ain't right, your spirit, she's stressed out.
Hmm.
So making sure that mind, body, and spirit are aligned. And one of the ways I do that is through financial education.
All right. Okay. I love it. We had been talking. So, as you guys know, I relocated from California to Texas and to kind of pick up your life and restart in another state, another place where you don't know anybody is uh, a monumental feat. And so over the last year, um, I had to kind of sit straight talk on the side because I'm rebuilding my life, right? And one of the things is that, when you are first getting someplace and you're settling in, them finances be a little tricky. Because you're trying to figure out what your bills are. What are your bills going to be now? Finding a job, and especially right now in this market where 1 million people have been laid off under this administration. It's been challenging for many people, but I'm so grateful because now I'm finally settled in. My change is finally consistent. So of course, really my next thought is, what can I do with my money so that I can build it most effectively? And, what is my best option? Because, like you said, in school, we didn't have a finance class. We didn't have that in my school. If they got it somewhere, I hats off. But we didn't have a class to teach us how to build a business. We didn't have classes to teach us about investment. So that's why I feel that you being on here today is super important for young people to hear, right? But for everybody that ain't heard it yet,
Mhm.
because it doesn't have to be as complicated as it appears, right?
No.
So, come on, lay it out for us. Tell us what we should know.
Well, I love what you just said. It doesn't have to be as complicated. And that is very intentional, right? The lack
Hmm.
of education, the very confusing nature of it, that
Right.
is intentional.
Yes,
So, in doing financial education, it's to make it palpable and understandable for the majority of the population,
yes, yes.
right? So, just going into a little background first, about 91% of families are underserved when it comes to financial education, right?
Hmm.
So that creates a retirement crisis, right? A lot of people aren't able to retire at the 65 expected age. Now I
Hmm.
believe it's up to around 75 on average is when people are retiring, if that. And
Hmm.
still, once people retire, they still have to take on a part time job, right? So
Hmm.
that's not really
Hmm.
even retirement.
Mhm.
There's an educational crisis. So, like I said, most people don't know what they don't know. And then
Mhm.
there's also a spending crisis.
Mhm.
So, we all are just constantly giving away our money. And so, the first thing I always want to teach people is how to pay yourself first, how to
Mhm.
spend your money on yourself first. And
Mhm.
that's essentially just putting money away for yourself for either, you want to buy a car, you want to go to school, you want to move to
Mhm.
Texas, whatever it
Mhm.
is you want to do, you have
Mhm.
that nest egg, right? And then let's say
Mhm.
you're blessed and you have multiple modes of income or you just need to touch that nest egg. Now that's generational wealth that you're building for your family, for your ancestry, and that's something that you can pass along. So that's the
Yeah.
first thing I always like to teach is know
Yeah.
how to pay yourself first.
Yes.
Yep. And so, like I said, 91% of families in the US are considered to be underserved when it comes to financial education, while that
Mhm.
9% is considered to be financially educated. Why are
Mhm.
they financially educated? Because they know how to pay themselves first. They
Mhm.
know how to put away for their retirement savings. They know how
Mhm.
to put away for their children's savings. And
Mhm.
they have the proper protection in place for all of those,
Mhm.
right? Most
Mhm.
people don't plan to fail. They fail to plan, right?
Mm. Come
So
on.
starting early, like you said, when you're young, that's the key. Obviously, you can
Mhm.
start at any age. I'm not going to tell you you're too old to start planning and saving
Right.
for your life, right? There's
Right.
no such
Right.
thing. But
Mhm.
obviously, the earlier you start, the better off you're going to be and the
Of
more
course.
you're going to know.
Of course. I love it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we know right now, put it in your pocket. The most important thing is to pay yourself first. Now, a
Yep.
lot of people say, I don't have enough to pay
Yep.
myself first. That's the first thing. I don't make enough to pay myself first. So what do we do?
So essentially, you want to cut from your taxes and your debt, and you want to be able to pay yourself first from that, right?
Okay.
Half of our
Mm-hmm.
expenses usually just go, or sorry, half of our spending usually goes to our living expenses, a quarter goes to taxes, and about a quarter goes to debt. So
Okay.
finding ways to strategically eliminate taxes as well as debt, that's where our chunk of our savings is going to come from.
All right. So how do we do that?
Essentially, there are a lot of modes that you can do that. I specifically specialize within life insurance. The
Mm-hmm.
specific term for it is going to be called an IUL, an
Mm-hmm.
Index Universal Life Policy.
Mm-hmm.
So, what that gives us is exactly what I said. It helps us cut our taxes as well as eliminate or start to eliminate that debt. How do we do that? I'm going to break it down kind of in categories,
All
starting
right.
with our taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, taxes, they have three different categories that I like to kind of separate them into. You have your
Mm-hmm.
tax now, and that's just
Mm-hmm.
for like daily spending, right? You have
Right.
your checkings, your savings, your CDs, your stocks, your mutual funds. Those are the daily kind of spending people do.
Mm-hmm.
That's where, you're
Mm-hmm.
immediately taxed if you pay for
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your tax later. That's going to be our 401ks. That's going to be our IRAs, our annuities, or in our
Mm-hmm.
pensions or TSPs. So that's when you get to accrue money and you accrue interest. But as soon as you touch that money, that's when it
Yeah.
gets taxed, right?
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
so that's referred to our tax later or tax deferred bracket.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And then our third bracket, which is where we all want to be living, right? This is going to be
Yeah.
called our tax advantage, or as
Okay.
I like to put it, tax free. Why
Okay.
is it tax free? Because you only pay your taxes when you get the money, right? So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, you get your paycheck, the tax is already taken out of it, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
the only taxes you're going to pay on that money. As soon as you have that money, you're going to pay yourself first. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to save that money, and you can
Mm-hmm.
save it within a Roth IRA, a 529 college savings, a long
Mm-hmm.
term care benefit, or like I said, what I specialize in, which is going to be a cash value life insurance IUL.
Okay. All
Mhm,
right. So
mhm,
that sounds good. So, the first thing we do need to do is cut on taxes.
mhm.
And if I had the option of paying less taxes, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna go ahead and go for that. Okay, that's the
Exactly.
win. So where do we go from here? We're definitely interested in hearing about the IUL because it sounds like if I could have protection for all of my belongings to if something happened to me because I done walked out here and got hit by a bus, you know, that it's going to cover my left expenses. But how does that help us financially?
Yeah, so I love that you said that. A lot of people, when they hear life insurance, they equate it to when I'm gone, right? When I'm no
Mm-hmm.
longer living. But what a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't know is you can use your life insurance while you're still alive, right?
Come
And
on
that's
now,
why
teach us something.
yeah, that's why the
Uh-huh.
IUL is super, super, super important because you do have that safety net of you're never going to lose money and you also have the potential of growing it, right?
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
in IUL, you want to think about it again. There's three different investment options within the
Mm-hmm.
brackets. You
Mm-hmm.
have your fixed one, right? That's again like our checkings and our savings. It's safe, right? We know our money's going to be safe, but it's
Yeah.
not going to grow, right?
Uh-huh.
We get like 8 cents every year
Right.
for investing in Chase Bank or something like that. We're
Right.
like, thanks, guys.
Right.
But $32 if you're overdraft, like it don't make no sense.
Right. Right. Okay.
So those are fixed accounts or savings or checking. So you have your safety, but you have no growth. The
Mm-hmm.
second is going to be, our 401ks, our things, our tax deferred bracket. That's where you
Mm-hmm.
have the potential for growth, but you don't have the safety. That's what
Mm-hmm.
would be called a variable account. So a
Okay.
variable account would be something that you invest within the economic market. So when the market's
Mm-hmm.
going great, oh, your investment's going up. That's great. But when we're in a recession right now, the value of the dollar starts to drop. Guess what? So does your money.
And we don't want that.
No, we do not. So within the variable account, we have the opportunity for growth, but we do not have that safety guarantee. So
Mm-hmm.
again, fixed account, safe, but not growing.
Mm-hmm.
Variable, growing, but not safe.
Okay. Now we
So
got to have the
how
better option.
we got to have the best of both worlds, right? So
Yes.
that's when our index account comes in, right? Our
Okay.
IUL. IUL is going to be the acronym of the day. So
Mm-hmm.
an IUL essentially gives you that potential for growth as the market goes up. So does your
Mm-hmm.
savings or investment account. And as
Mm-hmm.
soon as the market starts to go down, guess what? You balance out. You have that safety net because it is a guarantee no drop within the economy, and specifically within certain companies, they even have, as the market goes down, you can still grow up to 0.75%.
Okay.
So that's where we want to save our money. We want to save it in a sorry, not tax deferred. We want to save it in a tax advantage account, tax free.
Mm-hmm.
And we also want it to be in an index account so that as we're growing, we're making sure our savings are locked in. We're not losing money as the economy goes down.
Yes. Oh, I
Hmm.
love that. Okay.
Hmm.
So now that we know what we need to do first, pay yourself, right?
Hmm.
We know that there are other things to do, but ultimately we understand that from our conversation, the IUL,
Hmm.
it sounds like my best option.
Hmm.
So, of course, my very next question is, where do I get it? How do I get that?
Yes, yes. So you always want to have a trusted agent that you're going to do that with. So you can come
Hmm.
to me, you can come to someone else who does it, but essentially you want to have someone who's going to advocate for you. The
Okay.
one thing that I want to say when applying for an IUL is that about a third of the population will not be able to go through the application process just due to different aspects of their life, whether it's medical, whether it's financial, whatever it is, there's just some disqualifiers, right? So if someone's
Hmm.
chronically ill, that's
Hmm.
not a good investment strategy for an insurance company, right?
Hmm.
But let's say you just popped out a baby and you got a brand new social security number, you can go get that baby in IUL and they're gonna pass with flying colors because it's a brand new baby, right?
Uh-huh.
They got a
Okay.
long life expectancy. That's a good
Okay.
investment option for
Okay.
something like that. Yeah. So all you
Okay.
need is a social security. And what's
Okay.
amazing about an IUL too is that you can have as many as you want.
Uh-huh.
It's like an LLC. You can have as many as you want. And
Okay.
you can also put it out on someone who has a longer life expectancy. So let's say you have money that you want to invest, right?
Mhm.
but maybe you're not in the best of health, but you still want to save that money and put it aside. You can
Mhm.
put that in the name of your daughter. So you'll still be considered the owner. You'll still be the one funding it. You'll still be the one who has access to the account, but it's just under someone else's name and medical records and also criminal records, right?
Ooh, I
So let's
love that
say,
look.
yes, let's say you're someone who, unfortunately, I've been in a lot of car accidents. No one's gotten hurt, thank God, just the poor cars. But let's say, you've
Uh-huh,
gotten a lot of car accidents that have led to injuries, right? That's
uh-huh.
another thing that might not make you eligible for an
Mhm,
IUL because again, you
mhm.
want a safe investment, someone who's healthy and doesn't make super reckless choices as well.
Okay.
So that's the biggest part of that.
Okay, so the best way to determine is just to contact you or an agent, kind of just discuss your personal situation so that you can determine whether or not you're even eligible for the program.
Yeah, and I always say apply, right? It's free to apply. Like the
Uh-huh,
taking a meeting is never going to be cost to anyone. The reason
uh-huh.
why I do this is to educate people. I'm super big
Yes,
on educating. I like to call myself helper, healer, teacher because that
yes.
is the goal. I'm not trying to gatekeep. I'm
Come
not
on.
trying to be like, here's a nugget, and if you want more, you got to subscribe.
Yes,
No, 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 no,
yes,
no. This is
yes.
available to everyone, anywhere, anytime, and it's up to you whether you want to start saving for yourself first or if you want to do something different, or if you just want to keep on going the way you're going, right?
Right,
It's
right,
your choice, it's your life. I'm not here to pressure you. All I'm here to
right.
do is present you with the
The
educational
information, yes.
information, and you do with it what you will.